episode 3 of the InCntrl podcast. I'm your host, as always, Ole, and joining me again, as always, is PK. PK, how's it going?
Hi guys, I'm always here.
Yeah.
And happy to be here for episode 3. And
we're
got
still,
a lot to talk about it.
We're somehow still here at episode
We're still
3.
here.
Nothing has broken down, nothing's caught fire.
I think people like us. I think people like us.
Yeah. We got some good feedback on it.
May not be a million people, but people regardless.
Yeah,
like
we're
us.
really jazzed with the way you guys have been responding to the stuff we've been putting out so far. So, I think from both me and PK, would like to say thank you very much. Keep supporting us, keep giving us feedback, keep asking us questions. The things you guys want to talk about is the things we want to respond to, give our opinion about, and hopefully this is always going to be a two-way street between the both of us.
Of course, we always want people to give us feedback. And whatever you want to talk about, you just comment, post, whatever, and we'll respond. And that's the relationship that we just want to build with everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
We're happy with the responses. So yeah, episode 3, we're good.
Episode 3. So let's not keep things stalling right now, Patrick. Let's go straight into what we like to call, and I think everybody does like to call, the news. So
news.
We got a few bits of interesting stuff. Nothing too crazy has actually happened in the last couple of weeks.
It's kind of crazy for Xbox fans, though.
Oh yeah, for Xbox fans, it's actually a really good moment in time for them if you mostly game on Xbox, or if Xbox is your preferred platform. And we've got some good news for you in that area, but that's coming up later in Topic of the Week. But first news item that we have today is to do with Persona 5. This is the latest JRPG released by Atlas that came out on April 4th, which would have been the Tuesday. So this is a long-running Japanese RPG series. But what's interesting and why it's in the news is that some weird stuff has come out with regards to share functionality with Persona 5. Obviously, Persona 5 is only on PS4. But what they've done is restrict the share functionality, taking video recordings, taking screenshots. That is completely disabled with Persona 5, and the reasoning is story, because it's a game that has a heavy focus on a long narrative, and they don't want the game spoiled for anybody out there.
Which is understandable.
It's kicked off on the internet. People are really, really upset. They want to share their gameplay. They're people who want to watch Let's Plays and see the deep systems in this RPG. Initially, yeah.
It's just that I feel like this whole sharing aspect of video games and doing Let's Plays of brand new games and showing spoilers has become a real grey area in video games.
I agree.
And the release of Persona is going to highlight that area. Mm-hmm. It's definitely going to highlight it, because it's time that we started talking about whether we should be able to release content from a brand new game to other viewers. Is it really allowed? Should it happen? Or should we just not care about it, and if you want to go on the internet and see what happens in Persona 5, then you can simply just go and see it on YouTube? Should this okay, what I'm trying to say is that should the developers of brand new video games restrict the contents that's released from the game that they did?
I get what you're saying. I think my thing is it's understandable to a certain extent that they want to control the story and not have it ruined for people, because spoiler culture is like a really big thing.
It's a big issue.
It's a big issue. But my thing is, you can place those restrictions pre-release, especially with the press. So when they're doing their previews, or when they're doing their written reviews, written and video reviews, you can put those restrictions on them and say, okay, people need to experience this for themselves. Don't show them. Sorry.
Hit my laptop. isn't
it
it?
might be you might tell the reviewers, like, don't spoil the story for the millions of people that are gonna play this game. So please, up to a certain point or chapter, it ends there. But once it hits the street, once it's out there in the wild, I think it's actually just absurd that you'd be telling people who have paid for this game you can't share.
I don't think it's totally fair. Look, I totally understand what you're saying, but I don't think it's totally fair simply because there are a lot of people who buy certain video games simply based on another person's gameplay or simply based on their reactions, and that's what sells games essentially to some other people. You're not always
like what you're doing, like what you do, Patrick.
Yes,
on this podcast.
Of course. Yeah, it's the same way about what we are doing right now every day when we're releasing InCntrl podcasts. We tell you about a game, and if we really enjoyed it, if you trust our reviews, you should. But like, if you trust our reviews, then you're gonna be like, oh, this person online said that they enjoyed this aspect, they didn't enjoy this aspect, but I don't care what they say, I liked this aspect, and I'm gonna buy it and play regardless.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's not fair. It's not fair for you to say that you cannot release the content that we've given you.
Yeah. What's crazy about this story as well is I'm just gonna read a little part of the Atlas USA. This is the company that promotes Persona. Atlas Japan actually make the game, but they said this being a Japanese title with a single playthrough story means our masters in Japan are very wary about it. Sharing, I love that, our masters in Japan. Sharing is currently blocked through the native PS4 UI. However, if you do plan on streaming, video guidelines above apply. If you decide to stream past 7/7, which I assume is a certain point in the story, I highly recommend not doing this. You have been warned. You do so at the risk of being issued a content ID claim or worse, a channel strike / account suspension. So they are actively going out and shutting down, potentially suspending YouTubers' accounts or suspending the video entirely. I mean, that's just insane, isn't it?
And these suspensions go on for 6 months.
Yeah,
you can have your YouTube channel
yeah,
unable to post any video that is over 15 minutes on your channel for a good 6 months. Now, look, if you're gonna be blocked by the developer of a game that you are streaming or you're giving a let's play for 6 months, what's your objective in it? Are you saying that other people should not see what this game feels like or other people's reactions to this game? It's like I said before, it's a gray area. It's a gray area, and
it's I think as well as Japan companies, video game companies specifically, are so weird with like sharing online in terms of their intellectual property. They're so tight about it, and the classic case with this is Nintendo. You know, any type of Nintendo gameplay that you upload to your own personal channel, even if you're a little YouTuber with 10-15 subscribers, they will crack down on you, and they will make the money. They will make the money off your video. Because, I mean, they've just got such a backwards old way of thinking. It's 2017, for God's sake.
It has to change, and there has to be a sort of rules and guidelines where we can follow for every single game. This cannot continue simply just because a developer says don't share the content from a game that I sold you. It seems kind of unfair, but on the other aspect, they do have a point in the sense that these are games.
The story is so important at the same time. So, but my thing is with that is the PS4 UI automatically blocks cutscenes for certain games. Like a notification will just come up in the corner and say you cannot record during this time and whatever. I'm like, that is a happy medium. You can put that for certain aspects of the game.
Isn't that enough?
I would imagine so, but the Japanese masters say that it's not so. You know, it's kind of crazy. So the internet has kicked up a fuss about it. The game, for the record, is absolutely fantastic. I'm yet to play it. Still working my way through Persona 4 Golden. But as it stands right now, I mean, it's one of the best rated games of the year.
It's kind of weird that I haven't finished Persona 4.
Yeah, I mean,
4 Golden.
it's a long game.
I haven't. And I have to admit that my Vita has collected dust simply because that I've had a huge backlog of games.
Yeah.
And we need a backlog year.
A backlog year where you're just playing like
we need
stuff
1 year. Yeah, we need
Yeah.
1 year where everybody just stops releasing games and focus on developing while we catch up.
What's the oldest game in your backlog?
I can't really say oldest game, but the game that I feel bad for not playing right now is Neo. I haven't played Neo.
Yeah, that's only a few months old at least.
But still more, it's a game that should be up there in the top drawer, and I must have played it by now, and I haven't played it.
Yeah, you need to play that. I played the alpha and it was dope.
Yeah, but you said it was hard, right?
I kicked my ass. I totally kicked my ass.
And for you, what game do you think that you should have played by now?
A game that I should have played by now.
And Mafia, sorry, but I should have played Mafia.
I need to have played, I don't know if you know Transistor?
Yeah, Transistor.
That was a free game just when PS4 came out, and it's been sitting on my dashboard for 3 years, and I really want to play it. It's just...
We saw Transistor together at E3 when we were watching E3, was it
2013?
Yeah.
2013, when PS4 came out.
Yeah.
PS4 came out end of the year, and...
I remember watching it at an E3 event, and I was like, oh my god, I would love to play this game.
Yeah,
and
looks
other
really
games
cool,
just come out, and then you get confused, backlogged, and it just slides into the back door. And backlog, backlog, I vote
backlog year, hashtag backlog year. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the second news story that we have is. A game that I put over, I want to say 400 hours into. Destiny 2 has been revealed by Bungie. Their online MMO-esque first-person shooter. It got revealed with a CGI trailer. Hilariously, all the expansions and special editions and all that were put up for pre-order, and I was kind of angry because I was like, I need gameplay before I start throwing money at the screen, that kind of thing.
I have a lot of questions about Destiny and you guys, but
I put way more time into this game than I should have playing with my friends, especially when I was at uni. Because this game came out peak when I was doing my masters. And I abandoned writing my thesis for a solid 2 months playing this game straight. But I had some problems with it because the content wasn't coming out, because it's meant to be a live game that's always updated. I had some really big problems with the expansions. They didn't have enough content. The updates were really slow. And I eventually, after about 8 months, I got burned out on the game and kind of just never returned to it. Now we got this trailer showing the tone of the game as well. It's not as serious as it used to be, because it was more it's a futuristic space shooter.
They added an element of
humor. There's a lot of humor, and I know the big expansion, The Taken King, brought that element of humor in. But I actually never bothered playing that. I really do want to get to it because everybody says it's really, really good.
But I've got a question to you and all Destiny fans. Look, Destiny.
Yeah, I love Destiny. I love Destiny.
I only played a few hours. I only played a few hours of Destiny, and look, I enjoyed it. It's just that I got carried away with other games at the time. But why were people upset about not carrying their Destiny 1 progress into the Destiny 2? Why, I want to ask you specifically, why the Destiny 1 progress is so important into carrying into another IP?
Okay, yeah.
Even though it's the same IP franchise, why should we
restart?
Exactly.
It's supposed to be like a World of Warcraft kind of model where you're carrying your character throughout the whole thing. Was
that a big issue?
Well, okay, so to answer your question, personally, I really don't care if I lose all my Destiny progress and stuff. I'm glad that we get a fresh start. But what the rumors are from behind the scenes is that Bungie had real big problems with their engine. They had really big problems in terms of being able to update maps and put content in. I read something ridiculous, like just shifting even a multiplayer map, like editing it, would take something like upwards of 6 hours while you made adjustments and you're waiting for it to render and complete.
Oh, okay.
So they're moving to a much different version of their same engine. They're abandoning PS3 and Xbox 360 as well, because you need to remember this was also a cross-gen game across both. So they're playing with the bigger memory pool on the Xbox and PS4, and it's coming to PC as well. So all you guys who had a PC and were always interested in this game, you guys are always up to date anyway. But it's coming for the PC people as well. So all those elements, I think,
look good to me though. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Destiny.
the artwork of Destiny 2.
Oh, Destiny 2, yeah, it does look cool. It looks.
But then I don't know how you Destiny 1 guys.
For me,
I'm definitely gonna get it.
I'm just salty because there was a gun in Destiny called an auto rifle called the Suros Regime. And this gun was an absolute monster. I think even on our old channel, that was the gun I was using in that video commentary that I did. It was one of my favorite exotic weapons in the game. Carry that gun over, and I'm fine. That's it for me. That's the or repackage it for Destiny 2 or something. Yeah. So on the whole, I really couldn't care less about my character progression, because if it results in us getting content faster and getting meatier content and things that are actually interesting to do in terms of their quests and everything, then I'm more than happy to leave my old Guardian behind. I've always
just believed that if there is a new IP that comes out, I don't want my previous progress from I don't want the progress from my previous game per se to be carried on to the next one. I would rather start afresh.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody thinks like that. Or,
largely, from what I've seen, people seem okay with it, because surprisingly, the internet has been understanding for once. People understand the things I've been talking about to you, and they understand they're getting a better game out of this. Because we're going to even be able to do better stuff with the character creation and things like that.
Destiny's got like a shitload of fans.
Oh man, this game is
so many
massive.
characters.
This game is massive.
Exactly,
Absolutely massive. I've got people on my friends list who that's all they play. All they play.
To this day.
To this day. I mean, they play other games here and there, but they always fall back on Destiny.
What was the last update for Destiny?
There is an update, I believe, coming out in about 2 weeks.
And people are still playing it religiously, right?
Not as much anymore, because there's been nothing out for a minute now. I think since last September was the last major big piece of content. So it's been dry for a minute, you know?
So Destiny 2.
Yeah,
guys, look forward to it. Yeah.
Now, I'm very much looking forward to it. Obviously, we're going to get something at E3, so yeah, keep an eye out for that.
E3 Christmas. Whoop.
You're already hyped for E3.
I'm hyped for E3.
Okay, so we're going to move on to our last news story of the week. This one got me really excited before my hopes were dashed down. So this has to do with Spider-Man PS4. This is the PS4 exclusive Spider-Man game that's being made by Insomniac. Revealed last year at E3. Now what's interesting is the vice president of digital media at Marvel gave an indication of the release date or window that we're going to get for this game. And he said this at a live stream for... where was this? Okay, it was a live stream at some event where he basically said, this guy, his name is Penagos. He said there's even more on the horizon for 2017, like Spider-Man coming to PlayStation 4 and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite coming to Xbox One, PS4, and Windows PC. Now, straight away, I flipped out when I read this news because I was freaking. I love Spider-Man. This game looks hyped from the one trailer we've seen, and I'm like, 2017 for games has already been crazy.
It feels
adding
like
Spider-Man to it.
Spider-Man, and Iron Man have always been my favorite superheroes.
Yeah.
So for you to release a Spider-Man game means that I have like very high expectations of it.
Now, look at the studio behind it as as well. I mean, Insomniac are no mugs. They've just done Ratchet and Clank, which was really good. They've always done Ratchet and Clank, which has been good. They did Sunset Overdrive on Xbox.
And I hope that they pull it off really well. The trailer looked phenomenal.
Yeah, the trailer looked so good.
It looked fantastic, fantastic, and I'm so excited for it. I just hope that, I know they'll get well, usually in Spider-Man games, they always get the fluidity and the control of Spidey himself pretty good, but then the stories are very basic, and you don't always enjoy the Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
But this one, I hope that there's more to do in just more to do in general in the cities, in the open world, because let's be honest, open world games have evolved, and you can't just have one guy spinning around going from A to B and completing certain tasks. If they
can't be like cookie cutter BS.
No.
Like, I want to go on a quest that's like 30 minutes long as Peter Parker. I'm running for or I make decisions where I'm like, do I have to go do this for class?
And also use Peter Parker himself, not as Spider-Man in general. I also want to have certain aspects of this.
I want to play Peter.
Exactly.
Like 40% of that game.
There are times where Peter Parker, from the comics and the movies, he's under pressure and he has to make certain decisions. And if you can infuse those certain aspects into a video game and also play high-paced action as Spider-Man, then trust me, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. But we're not sure yet.
I'm going to crush your hopes right now, because Insomniac came out on Twitter and said there is no estimated time frame for the game's release.
I don't mind.
And exactly, I feel the same way. Take your time.
Just do it right.
All the time you need to make this game, because it needs to be done. We've had so many bad Spider-Man games. In fact, we should be having all the footage of the crappy Spider-Man games we've had. With those shadows.
What was the one on PS3?
I like Spider-Man 2, that was awesome. Obviously the Spider-Man games on PS1 were dope, but we've had a lot of crap. And Activision, when Activision had the license, we got so many bad Spider-Man games.
Look, I just think that if you're gonna make a PlayStation 4 game that is using a superhero and it's open world, you cannot rely on the brand name itself carrying the sales. You have to make sure that the gameplay, the graphics. I mean, yes, the graphics are usually good with open world games now, but that cannot be the primary attribute to sell your game. I want to spend 100 hours, 150 hours in your world.
You may be pushing it, but I don't think you're getting out.
Well,
you're not. You're going to get like a 30 hour
Look at it this way. If you're providing me an open world game, are you telling me that I should only spend 20 hours in your open world?
It's fine for me. I just want I want it to be densely packed with cool things to do. You need cool things to do. For me, hours is immaterial to a certain length, because I love indie games and the story-driven indie games, and those can last up to 2-3 hours max.
If the story is good.
It's all about the experience. So you can give me a small map, not a massive map, but put really unique, interesting things to do in there.
Essentially,
and give me a playground for Spider-Man. Give me a playground where I can do crazy kinds of web slinging and all that kind of stuff.
Essentially, a little bit like Watch Dogs 2, because Watch Dogs 2 the map wasn't huge.
The map wasn't massive, but there was lots of cool,
things. You could do a lot of things with it, and I understand what you're trying to say. I feel that when it comes to open world games now, the level that people are expecting now is
we're getting Red Dead at the end of the year.
Red Dead Redemption, and we all know what Rockstar's capable of. If you're telling me that you're going to release an open world game, then are you going to release it to your full capacity as an open world game, or are you going to give me something that has good cinematics, a good story, and I'm going to be done with it in 10-20 hours? I mean, I don't mind it, but if it's open world, I tend to expect a little bit more.
I agree. But at the same time, give me a densely packed, small open world. And just for the record, you're saying 2017 not happening?
I don't think it's going to happen in 2017.
I think 2018. They don't care about getting it with Homecoming.
Take your time. Just take your time with it.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah. So topic of the week, we got a double whammy for you guys. We actually got 2 topics of the week.
We're so excited.
So the first topic of the week basically is the Scorpio just got revealed tech spec wise a couple hours ago, because we're recording this on Thursday. On a Thursday, it's the 6th.
Welcome back to the fight, Microsoft.
So they just fully revealed their specs to Digital Foundry. So this is Microsoft's new system, similar to something like the PlayStation 4 Pro, but obviously it's going to be a much more, I want to say it's quite a bit more powerful than a PlayStation 4
It is more powerful.
It is
significantly more powerful.
It's obviously a machine that's targeting 4K as well. So just to go over the main specs, like 4 points, and I've got a comparison with Xbox One and PS4 Pro. So just so these numbers can kind of...
A lot of numbers, guys.
A lot of numbers, I'm sorry. So yeah, we got the CPU, which is still a Jaguar CPU, which is similar to the PS4 and Xbox One. x86 cores clocked, 8 x86 cores clocked at 2.3 gigahertz. The PS4 Pro is clocked at 2.1. They're getting a customized GPU, 40 customized compute units at, and this is where it gets a bit crazy for me. 1,172 megahertz. The PS4 Pro only has 36. It's got 12 gigs. This is crazy. 12 gigs of GDDR5 memory. So a massive memory.
It can store a lot of data while you're playing this.
And you need that much memory to stream those 4K assets as quickly as possible.
In general, games will look very good.
Yeah, they're gonna look really good. In comparison, PS4 Pro has 8 gigs of the same memory. The memory bandwidth is 326 gigabytes per second. PS4 Pro is at 218. It comes with a 1 terabyte hard drive, and it's also going to come together with a 4K optic drive, 4K Blu-ray optic drive, which the PS4 Pro just has a regular Blu-ray optic drive. So it's a meaty old system.
Okay, look at this. Look at it this way, right?
When I
was having a browse over these specs, it does look way more powerful than the PlayStation Pro. Look, I mean, let's not even beat around the bush. Yeah. This thing is going to have a lot of power, and it's very compact in terms of how much they're fitting into the box itself.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, well done, Xbox. But on the other hand, will the numbers themselves convince people to purchase it for their games? Because they do have backward compatibility, right? So
yes.
That means that the Scorpio will be able to play all Xbox 360 games
and Xbox One
games on the Scorpio, and they will all look much better. Much better.
Yeah, the cool thing I like as well is the system, excuse me, is going to have super sampling as a system-wide feature. So it's going to get your 4K image and down sample that if you have a regular 1080p TV, and that cleans up the image so much, so you get something that looks so crystal clear, no rough edges around like environmental props or around the character you're playing as. It's just going to be such a smooth and very, very clean image.
And it's going to look so good on 4K TVs.
Yeah, but even if you have only a 1080p TV, you're getting those kind of benefits as well, which is cool. And the Pro does downsampling, but it's not a system-wide feature. That doesn't apply to every single game. So I think that's pretty cool. But again, is that something that's a bit too in the weeds for the average person? I don't know. What do you think? Like, is it too much of, is it that kind of thing that the average person will care about? Like I was saying.
Okay, look, there are different ways to look at it, because the Scorpio has come out, right? And the power is absolutely fantastic. No one can take that away from it.
It's impressive.
But on the other hand, is everybody, especially like looking at it from our side of the world, is everybody moving onto 4K technology?
It's too early, I think. A little bit too early. People are upgrading. But...
Exactly. So my point comes in when it comes to Xbox and releasing this console, which has immense power. And your games look absolutely fantastic. But number one, the best exclusives, well, I mean, gauging to other people's reviews, the best exclusives are still on PlayStation 4. And number two,
more highly rated, more stuff coming as well.
Exactly.
It's just a fact.
And secondly, is it too early for people to go straight to 4K technology when people are still not sure about whether they should jump onto 4K right now? Are you giving us technology that is too powerful for me just to simply not care about as the average gamer?
Yeah.
Because we care about it, but does the other person who generally just plays
I think for me, my thing is, I think Microsoft's strategy here is, look, this is they're trying to course correct what happened with the Xbox One and it being underpowered and all the bad messaging and TV. They're trying to get around that to do a slight refresh. And I think they've mentioned time and time again, this is a premium product.
Because the Scorpio is amazing at elevating your gaming to 4K. It's absolutely fantastic. But
it's a premium product. That's the thing I want to come to is price. Price is always king. This, to me, reads like a $500 machine. And some people I've been reading...
We don't even know what it looks like yet, do we?
No, but to me, that's what...
Besides
the point. Anyway. My thing is the price. People have been saying it might be $399. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Microsoft can keep reiterating this is a premium level console for the enthusiast gamer who wants the highest fidelity graphics and everything. So it's a $500 system. And they're still winning in that sense because they just need to lower the price of the Xbox One S. That's the regular Xbox, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the Xbox that...
In the defense, but in the defense of Xbox themselves, isn't that what Sony were pushing for the PS4 Pro? For the hardcore game?
Yeah, it's for the hardcore, or if you want to pick up a new PS4, because it wasn't expensive. I mean, it was $400 when it came out. It might be $350 by the end of the year. So if you've got money and you're like, oh, I want to get a PS4 for the first time, you might just say, hey, might as well get the more powerful system. But I don't think that will translate as much with the Scorpio, because looking at these specs for 2017, I'm thinking no less than $500. Which is, that's tough. That's high, you know.
So just on the record, do you think it's going to be 500 or more?
Yeah.
With all those specs.
Put me down for this. The price? If it's less than 500, I'm gonna do the first ever InCntrl Gaming Hot Pepper game review. Mark it down. I'm gonna do a Hot Pepper game review if the console is less than $500. Please make a note. Michael back here is making a note of that just to be sure. Yeah, definitely. So lock me in with that. So yeah, that's the Scorpio news. No games really shown off, which was underwhelming. So we don't have any idea of what software is looking like. It's just a lot of words. So this was more of like a tech briefing.
So to be fair, I was interested to see the technology that would be in the Scorpio, but I was more interested in the type of I was more interested in the type of games that would be able to function beautifully on this console. I mean, look, we will always get games from Xbox or PlayStation, but then if you show me that there's a new game coming out and this game has got such high power, and
Horizon is a game that does that.
Exactly. Death Stranding.
Hideo
was running his Death Stranding trailer on a PlayStation Pro.
Yeah.
So if you can show me a game that I am willing to drool over and say, all right, this looks like it's gonna be absolutely fantastic, then the numbers don't matter to me anymore.
Yes, I don't think they have the games, I'll be honest. I don't think they have the games to show, because the good thing with Sony is they have those technical studios and they have good artistic vision, and they marry that together with your God of Wars, Uncharted, Infamous, Last Guardian. Xbox, they do have that in terms of the Forza guys are really good. Sorry, I'm forgetting the name of the studio. I feel so bad.
Or for Forza.
Whoever, the team that make Forza, they do amazing work. The Gears guys are competent. The Halo guys are also really good. 343, but it's a bit of a stumbling block. They need to show, you can't rely on third parties you know, Red Dead, yeah, it's gonna look the best on Scorpio, but how much better than Pro is it gonna look?
Exactly.
Because Rockstar are gonna take advantage to the metal of
Red Dead
Scorpio. 2? Yeah, it'll look amazing, obviously.
It'll look really good.
It's gonna look good to the people playing on PS4 Pros as well.
Will it be good enough for you to say that I don't have a console and I think I'm gonna just buy the Scorpio?
People will do that, but the thing is, in numbers, I don't think the numbers will be there, and it's gonna be expensive. Mark my words,
it's gonna be more expensive and less exclusive games.
Everything's on PC. That's a whole other topic of the week we could have as well. You know.
To be fair, the architecture of both consoles has been based on
x86.
Yeah, and the PC architecture of just the PlayStation 4, and I mean there are a lot of PC elements, should I say, and if Scorpio is heading in the direction of just having better hardware, then it might be an issue because they just won't have the exclusives to back them up.
Yeah, they really need to make. I think largely we'll see at E3. They have to play their hand.
They have to show an amazing game.
I don't think Forza 7 and Halo 6 and Crackdown 3 are gonna be enough. We're gonna need they need to bring their big guns and have surprises and show us a reason why we should get Scorpio.
Exactly.
You know. Okay, so anyway, that's Xbox Scorpio. Let's move on to our second topic of the week because we like you guys so much. We want to give you a double feature,
double whammy.
So the second topic of the week is Japanese game resurgence. Our experience with Japanese games in the past and how they've been making a comeback over the last 6 to 12 months.
The Japs are back.
Because a lot of Japanese games have been releasing lately that are just really, really of a high quality, like universal acclaim. People are playing these games and they're getting unique experiences and they're really, really enjoying them. Because we've had in the past 6 to 12 months, you know, we've had The Last Guardian, we've had Nier Automata, we've had Gravity Rush 2, we've had Neo, we've got Persona 5, which we just talked about. We've had, we can throw that in as well, we've had Legend of Zelda. I mean, that's a Japanese game as well. We've had Resident Evil 7, which people have fallen in love with because it's just taken Resident Evil back to its roots.
We should totally have a Let's Play of Resident
We need with VR. We need to get a PSVR and have a Let's Play of Resi 7. So there's been all these high quality Japanese games that have been coming in, and the cool thing about as well, they've all been selling well. Apart from Gravity Rush, World's Smallest Violin is playing for me because I love that game and no one cares.
How long has the Japanese the Japanese aspect of video games been in hibernation for? Because it always feels that in the 90s going up to the 2000s Japanese video games were ruling.
They were like the one, yeah.
And it kind of it came to a period where the Western world just woke up,
yeah,
and we started receiving really, really good games. And now it just feels like the Japanese are fighting back, and I feel like I'm happy. I'm happy about it
because the games coming from Japan are so different and unique, and these Western studios have copied certain aspects of Japanese games in their RPGs and whatnot. But I think, it was interesting you said that in the 90s and 2000s, Japanese games were the one.
Absolutely fantastic.
I think it was. If you look back during
Final Fantasy VII, that was when Tekken came in, and Tekken was the one. I think it was the best fighting game at the time, and we just had a lot of Japanese games coming in, and now they went into, after it reached over the 2000s. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It kind of felt that Japanese games were not sticking to their roots.
Well, for me, before I even let you expand on that point, just to butt in a little bit, for me, it's 2 points, I think. One, Japanese companies seem to really struggle with the transition to HD systems. So with the PS3 and Xbox 360, Japanese companies, I feel, had a really hard time managing budgets, because budgets for games grew really big at the time, and the demands placed on games were much higher. So I think that was a big issue, that transition to the HD era. Yeah. Konami, right? And so that was a really big problem in terms of getting the production pipeline. The Japanese games just weren't coming out, and they were struggling with budgets. Secondly, Japanese games predominantly sell in Japan. It is what it is. Mobile gaming took off like crazy in Japan, mid-2000s and moving onwards. So Japanese gamers Japanese companies were looking at this and saying, look at this exploding market.
This is where the money is.
Consoles are selling less. There's so much money to make on mobile, and some of them started making that transition to mobile and trying to move.
Is it that they didn't feel or see that in the later, as in going on to 2010 and after 2010, they didn't see that the gaming industry as a whole would expand.
Yeah, they thought it was probably the Japan mobile effect was gonna carry on over into the West, because it's not like phones were mobile game was only blowing up in Japan. They were just ahead of the curve. It reached the USA as well. But I think what they underestimated is the thirst for quality Japanese games. You put out a good Japanese quality games, gamers know about it, and I'm patting your laptop. They will take notice. And we did get that during the PS3 era. We got Demon Souls, we got Dark Souls, From Software stepped up, you got your Ni no Kuni. I know you're a really big fan of those games. Capcom naturally lost their way with Resident Evil, trying to make it more westernized and action focused. So they were those, and Nintendo were doing their thing always. But
Square Enix lost their way during the PS3 era.
Definitely. Square Enix is a big part of that downfall, and with Final Fantasy 13.
They started making their games more anime related, and they weren't sticking close to the type of games that people traditionally loved.
Yeah.
The difficult
RPGs and difficult action games like your Onimushas and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Neo is like,
the transition was difficult for them.
Exactly.
And I feel that now is the comeback. Now is the comeback. I think people know that if we stick to what people love and just enhance on it, then we can still really do good in this market.
Really do good work.
Like Neo looks absolutely fantastic.
And Neo's done $1 million in just about 3 to 4 weeks. Persona 5, 1.5 million copies it's a caveat because it was in Japan from September of last year, but it's done 1.5 million copies since then. It sold about 600K in 2 days, which is crazy, you know?
And Persona's gameplay has always stuck to, we're gonna keep it like turn-based, traditional type of gameplay. And if we can do that while expanding on graphics-wise, on sound, then we are gonna move forward like that. And that's fine by me. Don't change the style of your video game simply because of how the world is transforming on like just general video game gameplay. Yeah. So I hope they stick to it. Persona 5 has done good. I hope Square Enix, Capcom. I hope that
Final Fantasy sold really well as well.
It did.
Let's have 5-6 million copies since December.
Final Fantasy did really well, and I feel that if they did the bare minimum in terms of gameplay of what they wanted to achieve, but in terms of going completely back to the storyline, and I'm sure they even learned that going back to a very good in-depth storyline is what's going to win the characters over, and not having people with pink hair and strange, it's just they went back to
tentacles.
Exactly. they went back to what grasped people, you know what I mean? And I feel that that's what the Japanese industry has finally figured out. Let's go back to what the people love. And let's just do it very well.
Because gamers are older as well. We were 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 when we played these OG games. And now that we're like in our mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, whatever, like you have that hunger to go back.
Because dude, I was playing Final Fantasy 7 when I was what, 7, 8 years old.
Exactly, that game came out in 97.
I never played the game simply because of the graphics. I mean, the graphics in the CGI clips were absolutely fantastic, but I didn't play the game simply for the graphics. I played it because the story was in depth, and I enjoyed the gameplay, and there was such a vast world. If you're gonna make a game that attracted me more linear, then it seems like you're chasing away a huge portion of your fans. Yeah, I mean, look at the Souls series.
Yeah,
the Souls series haven't changed much. Well, in my opinion, they haven't changed much in terms of the overall objective. I mean, the framework of the games themselves, they haven't changed much.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I definitely agree with you. And even then, I think it's also a matter of timing, because sometimes a game, like my example for this is Yakuza. We've seen how like Yakuza 0, which is a prequel to Yakuza, the original Yakuza that's come out on PS4, has completely blown up, and everybody's fallen in love with this wacky, everybody calls it wacky GTA. But people have been saying it's wacky GTA for years. And just like, no, it just hasn't been able to break that bubble. But it's come at the right time. People are interested in new experiences, especially with the PS4. The install base is so big. So people who don't usually play these kind of games are being exposed. So Yakuza 0 is essentially just Yakuza. And it's just, people are just waking up to the fact that, hey, there's this awesome Japanese game that's almost like GTA, but has a serious mafia story within it and everything.
A different element.
Yeah, elements, and it's got millions of like side activities that are really like running your own casino, doing karaoke, buying food like sushi, and all those kind of things. People, so I think it's also an element of timing, and people are hungry for unique experiences at this moment in time.
Exactly.
You know, because there's nothing like Yakuza out there. There's nothing like Gravity Rush out there. There's nothing like Neo and Nier out there. So I think the thirst is real. The thirst is real.
I need to play Neo.
Yeah.
I've slacked on it, and it feels like I actually feel guilty about not playing it up to now.
I think you're really gonna like Neo. I just have a feeling when you play that game, you're just gonna cut. Because even the main character, is it a British dude with British samurai with white hair?
Yeah.
I feel like that's just such a Patrick design main character and everything. So I think you're gonna really like that.
I'll get onto it after Horizon.
So, in about a month.
Yeah, about a month.
Where does Persona fit into all of this?
I don't know. Backlog year. I vote for backlog year.
Backlog year. Yeah. We're talking about that earlier.
I've got so much to catch up on.
It's pretty crazy.
Hundreds of hours of gameplay that we need to catch up on.
This is good for us, and it's good for you guys as well.
I don't mind.
So I think we'll wrap it up with topic of the week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the 2 conversations we've had regarding that this week. And now we're going to move on to our final section, which is what we've been playing since the last episode. Who's going to go first? You want me to go first? I haven't been playing much, so I think for me it's probably going to be short and sweet, because this last week I've just been way tired after work and just want to like watch TV shows and stuff. I haven't had
guilty.
Drive to play that much.
I feel guilty about not finishing Persona 4 Golden, and my Vita's collected a shitload of dust.
Don't say that.
And no, I feel bad about it. I'm gonna admit it, but I feel bad about it, and I need to finish off Persona in order to get ready for Persona 5. And then as soon as I get this platinum for FF15, I just need to move straight on to Horizon. And then after Horizon, I feel like the road's kind of open.
Oh, okay, yeah. You can start.
Yeah, I don't feel that thing in my heart where I am obliged to play a set. Now I'll feel a little bit free to play what I want. Yeah.
So for me, I mean, it seems like you're giving me first dibs here. So I've been playing a really, really cool game. I've only had a chance to play with it for a few hours, but this game called Drawn to Death. This is like a game made by David Jaffe and his studio. He's the original creator of God of War. His studio, Bartha Jones Supernatural Agency. Really weird but cool name. They've made this online multiplayer arena shooter, which is almost like 2v2 or 2v2 or 4-player deathmatch. But it's really cool in the sense that it has the most weird, dope art style that is like hand drawn. It's basically a concept is like this high school kid's notebook, and during class he's just drawing all these doodles and creating these kind of environments and these different crazy characters. So you inhabit his world in this notebook, and you get to choose between like 6 very different characters who all play very differently with different abilities. So I've only played with 2 so far. There's a character called Ninja who's like it's got very juvenile humor.
How many players can you have in this arena?
4 max.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can be 2v2 or you can be like 4-player deathmatch, for example, and there's a couple of objective-based game modes as well.
Does the multiplayer match not last long if it's only 2v2?
It lasts about 10 minutes. No, it lasts about 10,
so
10,
it's pretty short and to the point, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
It lasts. And the cool thing is like it's got such a really unique and dope sense of humor. Like all the guns in the game have like really cool, funny descriptions, and there's this main character called Death Frog who guides you through the tutorial, guides you through playing other players online, but he comes out with these hilarious quips about how you're an idiot and you can't double jump and how it's so obvious how you should do that, aiming and shooting, that's during the tutorial, or he's using this weapon to describe how he's like, he had a better time smashing your mom than like using this weapon, for example. It's like such 13-year-old humor, but it works for some reason. It's just so funny. And the characters as well are really cool, and each character has their own set of 2 special abilities. So I've played so far with 2 characters called Ninja and Johnny Savage. Okay. Ninja is half woman and half shark with massive boobs. And she's got abilities like a rope hook, like an anchor hook, basically, and she can throw like area of effect sharks at you as well.
Okay.
And the cool thing is like it's strategic because it's actually just so smart.
I don't know why it feels like what you're describing to me sounds like Time Splitters.
I was about to say yes. Yeah, thank you.
It sounds like
because
Time Splitters.
I've been thinking that myself.
Time
it sounds like
Splitters was so good.
Yeah,
it was so good on PlayStation 2.
Yeah, with all the different characters and the humor as well.
And we played that game for hours.
We played so much of that game. It really has. It's like a fusion of Time Splitters and Quake. Because it's fast-paced and there's pickups and everything. So what's cool is when you choose your loadout, your left side of your loadout in the matchmaking lobby, you pick 2 weapons. Those are the weapons that you carry. But on your right side, you have 4 weapons that you can pick from. But your weapons are power-ups on the map. Okay. Now everybody chooses their own set of right side weapons to be power-ups. So when you pick up a weapon, it's completely different for someone else. So I mean, the battlefield is absolutely crazy because there's like 20 weapons, and everybody's got their own different combination of things, different character skills that you can use to get the upper hand on your character. And the cool thing is there's a pro-con system with a character. So one character has an advantage against another as a pro, but then that character as well is susceptible to another character, and that's their con, because they have different storylines that exhibit those strengths and weaknesses between each of those. I've never seen that mostly in any kind of online multiplayer game. So that's like another meta level that you can get into. Like Ninja is really good against this character called Bronco, who is like super gruff military meathead.
So it means that no matter what character that you select, there's always a weakness.
Essentially, depending on the character you're facing off against.
Okay.
Yeah, you could say it in that way. There is a weakness, but it's about you digging into those systems, and they do outline the pros and cons, but you digging into those systems and figuring out how do I apply this to my relevant scenario and everything. So I've been playing a lot of that. I'm exaggerating. I'm saying a lot. I've played like 5 hours so far, over a night and a half, basically. And it's really fun. I've only played 2 out of 6 characters. Like I said, I want to dive in much deeper.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really cool game. If you have PlayStation Plus on PS4, you can check it out. It's free for April. So go ahead and give it a download. It really wouldn't hurt. And the last thing I have played, I played a little bit of Horizon. Again, I will expound on my thoughts when I finish that game completely.
Yeah.
I will just keep saying it's absolutely a masterpiece in my opinion.
It looks fantastic.
But I've been playing more Persona because I need to get ready for Persona 5, like we were talking about earlier in the news segment. Like,
we should give each other a time limit to finish Persona
I need to finish this game
move on to Persona 5 as quickly as possible.
But Persona, the thing I'm loving right now is I'm in a point in the story where it's all about the character relationships. It's all about building these bonds with each and every character. There's S-links in this game, social links, which means when you interact with the character and go on activities with them more, you will upgrade that relationship.
Build your teamwork.
Yeah, you unlock new abilities for the character in your party, as well as for yourself, and unlocking new personas and new abilities. And it's really interesting going on these like individual activities. Like,
doesn't it feel
Chie, best girl. I love Chie is best. Chie, I have a thing for Chie, and I love Yosuke. And Teddy kind of pisses me off, if I'm honest. He's a bit annoying.
I really use Teddy to be fair with you.
I've leveled up Ted. Like the thing is, because you get each character at a certain point in the story, and they are
of course. But then there are also those
Teddy's
times
powerful, so I have to keep.
There are also those times where you just choose to train certain characters.
Yeah.
And then I'm always just like, Teddy, nope, you're staying at home today.
Teddy, you're staying behind. I'm always rolling with Kanji, Yosuke, and Chie. Not Yosuke, sorry, Yukiko.
Yukiko.
I always roll with them. But so I've been trying to make my way through that. Persona 5, like Persona 4, is probably 100 hours long. And what's the point in rushing to get to 100 hours, you know?
I always used to tell her, like, dude, I'm like 40 hours in on P4G and I'm 50 hours in. You'd be like, nope, you still got
You've got to, because you tell me where you are in the story and I'll be like, Patrick, you got a good 20 hours to like get to where I am.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm playing Persona, trying to, especially once I'm done with Persona 4, I want to do P5 coverage definitely for the channel and everything. And
that'll be good.
If Atlas will let me stream anything or record anything, that's you see, now it's impacting us. We can't even put Persona 5 for the job. So, that's
good. Don't suspend our channel.
Suspended.
And we won't be allowed. We won't be allowed to upload any more InCntrl data.
Yes. we need to appeal to our channel.
What the f is this?
You are streaming with spoilers from Persona 5. You wake up the next day and like channel suspended.
You're like, shit, what is this? What is this? Broke the channel. So don't do it. So don't do it.
Don't stream anything. Well, we won't stream anything.
We won't stream anything.
Don't stream anything from Persona 5.
Don't worry.
You're gonna have ninjas in your You're gonna have ninjas. Alright, anyway, what have you been playing, man? What's been going on?
I was trying to get the last trophy on FF15. I know that I've been slacking. I should have done it a long time ago, and I kind of feel embarrassed talking about it for like the second week in a row.
That's cool. You got one trophy left, man. And
I have to beat the Adamantoise. That's the
giant
mountain. That's the
monster.
The mountain turtle thing.
That looks like a bit.
To be honest, that character, enemy or fiend, whatever you want to call it, has been in every Final Fantasy since before I was born.
Oh, okay, so like it's a recurring monster,
thing.
kind of like chocobos?
Yeah, because you know, and you know what? That's also one thing that I love about Japanese games. They like to keep the tradition.
Oh yeah, like certain elements in their series. Yeah, so
but
Persona is the same.
Persona is exactly the same, and I just need to finish that off. Oh, okay, yeah, you cut that out. Yeah, but anyway, I just need to finish that off, and I don't think it'll take me very long. And I played a little bit of Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Talk to me about that. Do you actually have it, or
yeah, I do. I've been playing it, and somehow it gets a little bit repetitive in terms of going through gun battles, and in order to take out a certain boss, then I need to upgrade in this certain level, and it gets a little bit repetitive after some time, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I can continue playing it until I get through this whole river of let me just finish the games that I have. Let me finish the games that I have, and then hopefully next week I can just get full into Horizon. And from there, hopefully I can be done with P4G as well.
So I should not be considering buying Ghost Recon, because you've been telling me, Ole, we need to play this together and whatnot. And I have told you I would only play this if I can play with friends, because otherwise I have no interest. If you're gonna play it and put it down. Then
going on record, I recommend for you to buy it when the price drops a little bit.
Okay.
When the price drops. It's not a game that I would say get right now. Get right now.
Oh yeah.
But get the game when the price drops. You're not gonna be let down. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the combat. The environment looks absolutely fantastic. But just wait a little bit.
Alright, so is that pretty much it for you?
I think we've covered everything.
Yeah. So I guess we're coming up to the end of the show. We've gone through everything. We really hope you guys once again had a good time joining us for the third episode of the InCntrl podcast. Patrick, it was good?
Yeah, I enjoyed it today.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys enjoyed what we talked about, and please just tune in every week.
Yeah, you know we're dropping a new episode every single week. We're glad you guys were able to come join us once again. Please go ahead to the InCntrlGamingZm. InCntrlGamingZm on Twitter, on Facebook. Go over there, drop a like, drop a follow.
Ole Gunner.
Yeah, my Twitter is Ole_Gunner. PK is Pato_Kafu. You know, you can follow us there, leave us messages, give us DMs about what you think we can do, what we can talk about, especially on the Facebook group. You know, we're going to be posting weekly questions there as well before the podcast drops, so that we're going to pose what we think are interesting questions or topics for you guys to provide feedback on, and then we can bring those comments into the show, because like we keep saying, we always want it to be like a two-way street and everything.
And also let us know what you're playing and what you want us to play and talk about. Please. Really?
Yeah, go ahead. Even if it's a one-word post, we always appreciate any time that you guys engage with us. So I think that's gonna about cover it for this third episode. Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah,
always a pleasure doing this with you. Sorry for patting your lap.
Go ahead. I think she's used to it. Yeah, but thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to everybody who's been giving us support. Thanks NeoNova. Thanks our 2 fans.
So yeah, guys, we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again. Have a good time. Bye.
Bye.